It's supposed to be a magical day, the kind we've all seen in fairy tales. But when it comes to this wedding, toss those storybooks out the window. Especially when the bride seems more interested in rewriting the entire rulebook than celebrating love. Buckle up, because we've got a lot to unpack in today's deep dive. Hello, welcome back everybody, it's Elmina and you're watching Sister Wives Underground. You know, I'm not one to mince words, so let's dive right in. If there is one thing we can always rely on, it's Robin dispensing those so-called pearls of wisdom. Gratefully, Robin, you reminded us just how humongous a wedding day is. We'll never have imagined. But here's the kicker. It's only a big day when you're marrying someone who genuinely loves and respects you, someone who doesn't have that hollow 1,000-yard stare. Meanwhile, Cody's out here complaining he couldn't even get the day off work. Sure, Cody, priorities. And then they highlight the other wives introspecting on how plural marriage was compromise. Then bam, skip to Robin, oohing and ahhing about her heavenly dress and her so-perfect wedding day with Cody. The same wedding that she and Cody lied about. Classic. Robin's special day was too special, and that's precisely the issue. Ever noticed Robin never says anything profound or insightful? It's always the same, playing the victim. Whether she's revisiting her childhood or luxuriating in her newest wedding moment, it's all meticulously staged misery. And yet here she is, with the husband, the house and the family, still pretending she's got it the worst. Cody, meanwhile, bemoans not being monogamous enough, while literally every other person walked away. Newsflash, he's practiced monogamy for years now, time to come to terms with it, and in case you didn't catch it, it's a big wedding day to wed, again, for the 4th time, and the 3rd time to this same man. Notice how Robin's eyes always appear on the verge of welling up. It's as if emotional manipulation is her first language. Now let's take a second and wonder, are Robin's daughters walking down the aisle soon? Unlikely, not with Cody in the wings. Let's not forget, Robin's wedding count is 1 legal marriage to her ex, a spiritual but hurried one since she was pregnant, a temple wedding with Cody, a celebration wedding, and then the legal one with Cody. And now rumors are circulating about another one, because, wait for it, monogamy. Now it's less love and more fill the storybook. Every new wedding looks more like a production than a union. And it doesn't end there. The actual harm is taking place behind closed doors, where Cody's parenting is slowly destroying his children's lives. And nobody's discussing it. Let's discuss the so-called little ones, Ariella and Solomon. Robin and Cody are always portraying them as dainty and in need of more care. But here's a fact. Truly is really older than Solomon. My own kid is only a few days younger than Solomon, and he's already a middle schooler. Logan was making breakfast and assisting with his siblings at Solomon's age. Robin uses the tender age line to excuse her actions, had adult children and a nanny living in her home. And Cody? He uses it as a way to completely overlook his other children from previous marriages. It's tragic. The older children watch their father show favor to the supposedly little ones, while they get pushed to the background. And here's the irony. This helicopter parenting won't benefit the younger children in the long term. Robin and Cody's style of parenting doesn't do anything to ready their children for actual adult life. Just look at Robin's older 3. They're now adults, but were they taught the basics? Cooking, cleaning, managing bills? Doubtful. In contrast, the other wives' children seem grounded, capable, and emotionally healthier. So what's the takeaway here? It's not just about weddings and drama. It's about parenting, power plays, and people rewriting the narrative to suit their own agendas, while others quietly pick up the pieces. And believe me, we're just getting started. Hang in there, because what's next may very well be the most eye-opening chapter so far. Let's get real. If Robin's children had to fend for themselves tomorrow morning, most of them wouldn't have a clue where to start. From simple duties to keeping a car in running condition, they'd be totally in the dark. That's not their fault. That's an abdication squarely on Robin and Cody's shoulders. And seeing the younger children now, I don't see them doing any better. Take Truly, for instance, Christine's daughter. Cody doesn't treat her as one of his own. Actually, it's become more and more clear that, to him, only 5 of his children actually belong to his real family. The others? Just background extras in his reality show world. Robin isn't just the 4th wife, she's Cody's 2nd try at being married. The other 3, they're nothing short of failed experiments to him. Cody acts like a desperate man trying for a do-over. Mary was his first. He wasn't pleased with mistresses 1 and 2, so he married mistress number 3. That's why people tease him a glorified baby daddy, jokingly, but not untruthfully. And honestly, the description suits. Cody treats any family other than Robin's like an encumbrance. Even the adult children, those who gave him years of love and respect, are being cast aside. Just consider how Truly was treated. While Solomon was indulged and taken everywhere, Cody hardly even recognized Truly as a baby. Robin didn't hesitate to take Cody away from Christine and her new baby for their honeymoon. But now, Cody can't bear to be separated from Robin's kids for more than 3 days. Truly needed her dad, but he wasn't around. And yet, Solomon and Ariella, already with their dad, received even more of his focus. The silver lining. Finally, now there is someone in her life that sees her as the little princess she has always been. A few people have noted that Robin appears to pass Solomon off as soon as she enters a room, sometimes even to other children. It's an odd contrast to her hyper-vigilant protecting attitude when it comes to other circumstances. And yes, there's blame to be shared. Others feel the other wives let Cody get away with too much. For example, Mary should have held her ground and refused to allow him to ask Janelle to marry him, especially not on her birthday. Christine could have fought harder against a wedding and honeymoon proposal that only added more drama to their lives. But defying Cody often had repercussions. Emotional discipline or removal from the captain's rotation altogether. Robin is the sole wife ever permitted to draw boundaries without subsequent punishment. Cody insists on better reverting to a patriarchal family. His expectations are anything but equitable, though. He treats Robin better in manner, not tone, with better calm respect, while roasting and yelling. And since they lost 3 family incomes, his temper has only gotten worse. Cody won't admit that he is the one who tore down these relationships. Robin pulls the strings at home, and Cody is laser beam centered on keeping her happy so he can continue their standard of living. Robin infantilizes her children too. She wouldn't allow Dayton to go to college by himself. The older daughters are still in the house. Cody, on his part, collapses if he doesn't get to see them for 10 days. Compare that with how he treated his other children, such as Isabel, whom he didn't even bother to visit when she needed major surgery. That was one of the most agonizing moments so far. Then there's the way they treated COVID. Cody and Robin had no sympathy for the rest of the family. When Aurora needed to quarantine, they were frantic. But when it came to the other children, some the same exact age, they didn't even call. The double standards don't get any clearer. Most longtime fans believe Cody has been an emotionally absent father, even when he was physically present. Consider Logan, for example. He lived in the same household as Cody for 15 years, and yet had to become a father figure for his siblings. Robin and Cody only appeared to care for the children who could babysit, so Robin could have her undisturbed alone time with her husband. And Cody's resentment of Truly. It appears to date all the way back to her birth. She was born while he was out playing newlyweds with Robin. He never did form a connection with her, and that strain remains. When he speaks of Solomon and Ariella as tender-aged or the little ones, it's just pretense. He knows better than to call them his favourites in public, but we all know what it is. The favouritism is ringing out loud and clear, and the emotional harm it's causing, particularly to Solomon, is difficult to overlook. Being raised without a positive example of love, equality, or justice could have real repercussions down the line. Just think of Solomon as a grown adult, catching glimpses of these clips. Witnessing himself older in age, still sucking on his thumb, still babied. That sort of coddling? Not love, it's manipulation, and the repercussions will resound for years to come. Let's discuss the quiet imbalance that's screaming volumes. Solomon and Ariella aren't in public school, and it's noticeable. While the rest of Cody's kids typically attend public school, even after the move to Arizona, Solomon and Ariella's schooling arrangement is unclear and insulated. Why the secrecy? Why the double standard? It's not all about school. Their behavior and development are indicative of this bubble. Ariella, for instance, had already been demonstrating an unusually controlling nature on her very first day in a new school. And yet, contrast that with Truly. Christine's daughter has turned out to be a beacon of confidence and self-awareness. She's learning to stand up for herself in a home where she's accepted for just being herself. And perhaps that's a blessing in disguise. Truly is learning, if maybe earlier than everyone else, that Cody's abandonment has nothing to do with her value and everything to do with his inadequacy as a parent. Cody's unease with Truly is palpable, as is his inclination to blame Christine. But Truly, she doesn't need his validation, and that in itself is freedom. Unlike Robin's daughters, who seem trained to constantly win Cody's favour, Truly may just grow up knowing she doesn't need it to thrive. But here's the truth that many fail to see. Kids never outgrow needing their parents, just their needs change. Even as an adult, children turn to their parents for direction, comfort and affection. Cody's bias doesn't merely bruise egos, it injures permanently. His neglect has already caused many of his children to feel like second-class citizens in their own family. It hurts, and it's an epic parenting fail. Now, changing gears, have you ever seen a grown man have a toddler tantrum over supper? Catch Cody Brown at the infamous Hawaiian pig roast. Imagine this, the entire family's assembled, the grub is incredible, and Cody loses it. Why? Because he arbitrarily, yes, that's the word, decided he no longer eats pork. Because Jesus apparently instructed him via the Bible. Difficulty is, no one else in the family received the letter. So, when they started digging, Cody pouted, seethed, and seemed to say piss off to everyone. Yes, at a family dinner. Real Father of the Year stuff, huh? And while Cody sulked like a kid who didn't get dessert, the rest of the family acted adult-like. Logan, especially, excelled. Peaceful, polite, and a gracious guest, Logan thanked the host and ate his dinner. This is the same Logan for whom Cody arranged a bar mitzvah, that odd choice given how little Cody knows or respects the Jewish religion. Ironically enough, Cody does have the tendency of cherry-picking Old Testament laws when they are convenient for his story. It's not about faith, it's about control. And let's not forget the drama. Cody knighted Logan at that wedding, then also did the same to Caleb at his wedding, making these ceremonies mini monarchies. Because, of course, in Cody's worldview, he's royalty. Meanwhile, Logan took it like a pro, further proving that he's more of an adult than his father has ever been. And his so-called love of reading, he's got rows of books but gripes about poor lighting. Like that's the problem. What's he reading anyway? Historical romance novels, conspiracy theory brochures. Whatever it is, it's likely smothered in a pseudo-intellectual veneer. You get the sense his reading level tops out around Goodnight Moon. And then there's his standard go-to. I have Jewish friends. The speech equivalent of I'm not racist, I have black friends. It's cringeworthy, it's performative, and it shows just how little he actually knows the people or tradition he purports to hold in such esteem. Seeing Cody attempt to grasp religious tenets is akin to seeing someone who watched one episode of HGTV attempt to gut renovate a whole house. Clueless assurance without basis. In the meantime, the children, Logan, Michelle, Maddie, Aspen, are establishing actual lives, careers, families, homes. And what's Cody and Robin doing, working to maintain their own home intact? The hypocrisy is delectable. Cody complains about pork while quite likely sneaking a side of bacon, unaware that it's the exact thing he's been railing against. When Christine invited him to have turkey bacon, it was practically merciful. Let's be real, it ain't what Cody Brown eats that's the issue. It's what he says. He's always spewing bull, covering ego with a thin layer of morality. His much ballyhooed paleo me diet wasn't about spirituality. It was all about control. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who was gay rumours in high school and lived the rest of his life overcompensating by putting on a never-ending spectacle. Even the occasional visitors to the family reported him as a showboat. And yet, it's Logan and not Cody who behaves like the actual father figure. In that notorious pig roast meltdown, Cody had a hissy fit about pork, citing religious grounds. Logan, he simply shrugged and uttered, "More pork for me," de-escalating the tantrum with serene maturity. As usual, Logan demonstrated that Cody's theatrics make no difference. Here's the lesson. If you can't be an example of good, be a warning. Cody is precisely that. That any one of the children turned out stable and productive, in spite of his presence in their lives, is nothing short of miraculous. His self-appointment as king at the luau was pathetic and laughable. The hosts went out of their way to greet the family, and Cody responded with a pout and an admonishing storm cloud. Ungratefulness personified. Now here's where things get uncomfortable, but important. Let's talk about the unspoken strategy behind keeping grown children at home in a polygamous household. I'm on my third, maybe fourth rewatch of the series, and one detail keeps jumping out. Robin still has all 5 of her kids living at home. Coincidence? Maybe not. Consider this. Cody's connections with Mary, Janelle, and Christine all began to disintegrate when their kids matured and flew the coop. Mary's connection with Cody more or less dissolved when Leon moved out. Christine and Janelle's unions gradually sputtered as their children grew up. But Robin, she's kept her nest brimming, and maybe on purpose. Is it possible that Robin uses her children as anchors to hold Cody close? The longer her children remain under her roof, the more Cody is tied down. Others say Robin isn't as manipulative as she appears to be, but instead motivated by insecurity and a desperate need to remain relevant as she grows older. In lieu of releasing him, she holds on tighter, to her kids, to Cody, to the fantasy of family harmony. It's not clever manipulation, it's emotional clinginess. Her true talent is not strategy, it's melodrama. She presents herself as the doting mother, but her clinginess is bordering on unhealthy. It's normal to love your children, but holding them constantly close can suffocate their development. Robin's inability to let go might be more about hers than theirs. Mary's relationship with Cody is a warning tale in itself. Theirs was the relationship that deteriorated long before Robin's arrival. Cody's interest in Mary seemed very much predicated on her potential to bear more children, and when that avenue closed, so did their relationship. Over time, Mary was of greater value for her earnings and the family name than as a partner. She wasn't easy to deal with either, something that was creating tension among the other wives. Christine, for example, once challenged Mary aggressively, particularly about Maddie's delivery. But in that instance, it was actually Mary who was being respectful of Maddie's requests and not inserting herself into the labour. In the meantime, Cody was already distancing himself, mentally and emotionally. This is where the dynamics turn sinister. Cody had anticipated that the other wives would assist in raising Robin's children the manner they had raised their own kids. Early on, but as Robin became the clear favourite, and as the other wives grew financially independent, his little kingdom started to break down. COVID brought it all crashing down, laying bare Cody's inflexibility and profound favoritism. Cody desires to be the beloved patriarch, the hero dad to wide-eyed young ones who never dare to defy him. And that's what Robin provides him, a captive audience of children who stroke his ego and cement her position as the perfect, fertile wife in a polygamy world. The sad truth: these children might not even know how emotionally manipulated they've been. Some are said to have special needs, autism, serious anxiety, which may justify their delayed independence. But even that aside, the manner in which Robin holds on to them is more about control and less about caring. Let's discuss something that doesn't get said enough. Overprotection is not always love. It can be a disguise for control. And in Robin's situation, it could be both. Robin Brown is often portrayed as the peacemaker, the victim, the soft-spoken wife. But many fans have noticed a pattern. Her parenting is intensely controlling, and some even say it's emotionally stunting. When the family moved to Flagstaff, it felt rushed. Why? Some believe it was because Robin didn't trust her eldest son to live independently. And that's not just speculation. It reflects a deeper dynamic we've seen play out over years. Robin appears to live vicariously through her daughters, tagging along on their dreams and nightmares. And with her boys, the dynamic can feel too close, too intimate, what some refer to as emotional enmeshment. She stands between them as the vulnerable, overwrought mum in need of guarding, especially by her boys. That model perpetuates dependency. Her children come of age believing that their value as people lies in keeping mum safe from the world, not developing into self-sufficient, secure individuals. Some viewers have even equated Robin's actions with emotional hoarding. Just as her home looks cluttered and dysregulated, so too are her family relationships in disarray. She holds onto her kids and onto controlling them. And though her older children who remain at home are thriving in college, and some of them are even faced with legitimate challenges such as autism or anxiety, the emotional climate fostered by Robin and Cody's resentment might have shortchanged them in other capacities. Let's be clear, mental illnesses can create a legitimate need for ongoing support. That is not what's going on here. What's going on here is the pattern, a pattern of babying, of children who never get to try out on their own, of a mother who may be transferring her own fears and restrictions instead of assisting her children in transcending theirs. We've also seen this emotional manipulation bleed into the broader family dynamic. Cody's victim mentality, paired with Robin's performative fragility, has created a divide. The kids from other wives often seem ostracized. There's tension, silence, and a growing sense of alienation. And examine Mary's son, Leon. They've left their polygamy behind, accepted who they are, and are successful in their careers. That speaks volumes. It indicates what can happen when you escape from a system that hinders progress and expects fidelity at the expense of self. Once there was even a time when Cody called the family house a compound, a word freighted with significance. It implies control, centralization, having people within view, physically and emotionally, particularly the most devoted to Robin. That choice of words says more than Cody likely meant. Then there's Dayton, a good smart guy with 3 degrees, still in the nest. Some of his fans feel it's not out of necessity, but out of Robin's reluctance to relinquish. It's revealing. Even when her children are more than capable of fending for themselves, she holds on close, maybe because she doesn't know how to exist without that edge of control. Ultimately, Robin's approach may stem from her own lack of life skills and independence. Her grip on her children might be her way of coping with insecurity, projecting strength through overprotection. But that doesn't serve the kids. It holds them back. And that's where we'll leave it for now. Let me know in the comments, do you also see this pattern? Is Robin being overprotective out of love or control? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if it struck a chord with you. Subscribe for more in-depth looks into family drama, reality TV, and what we can all learn from it. Thanks for watching, be kind to yourselves, and lots of love to everyone.